Hey YouTube, Prof Sales, and it is video time. How is everybody doing? I am Prof Sales, and this is Kaaren.
Hi, everybody.
We're coming at you guys with a update video, with a topic. What else are we going to talk? I don't even know what we're going to talk about. Do you?
I wanted to call the show Talking Turkey with the Prof, but obviously that didn't make the cut.
It did not make the cut, but, you know, it's early, so who knows? Maybe it will make the cut.
Or maybe we'll talk turkey. Who knows?
So how is everybody doing today? It is Wednesday, November 23rd. We are one day away from Thanksgiving here in the U.S. You're giving me a funny look. So time to talk turkey, I guess, if you're into that, right?
Yes.
We're going out to eat, though, aren't we?
We're going to a fancy restaurant. No cooking or better, no cleaning going on here afterwards.
Right. No cooking, no cleaning. I may even have a steak for Thanksgiving because I don't care about turkey. Whatever, turkey's good. But man, if they got it's a steak place, so I might just eat a steak.
Every time you say I don't care now, I think about our honey badger video. Honey badger don't care.
Yeah, we were rewatching the honey badger video. We're welcome to 4 years ago. So anyway,
that's us keeping up with the trends.
So yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Hope your sales are going well. Some people are talking about their sales, so we'll get into that. But we've got a topic for today. Definitely going to talk about dealing with returns. I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting a bunch of returns lately, although it's really not that many. I just have had a bunch recently, but it's not that many in terms of the overall month.
Yeah, I think they were just all saving up. It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
At the same, after all that inseam discussion, there was a
what?
What's it called? A mutiny.
A mutiny?
There was a mutiny.
There was a mutiny, yeah. And I wanted to show you guys something too. We're going to talk about the 100 listings and give you an update on that, but I wanted to show you something from that day that was kind of interesting. Now, as some of you remember, Kaaren and I went and we did 100 listings in a single day. That was our one of our goals to do. And I wanted to show you guys like what that looked like in terms of some traffic. So let me see if I can pull that up. One of the things that eBay tracks and under your performance tab is something called listings or listing impressions. And basically what that means is if somebody does a search and your listing matches their search parameters and it comes up, that counts as a listing. So all things being equal, the more impressions that you get, the more times your listings are being seen on eBay, which theoretically should translate into more sales, right?
It should.
That sort of makes sense. But it doesn't always quite work that way. So I thought I would share with you guys. I'm going to do a quick screen share now that we're into it. I'm going to show you guys what happened on last Wednesday when we did the 100 listings, all right? So let me go over here to share this. And we are here on my eBay page. Let me go back over to it. You can see these are all the days of the month, and I've had almost 1 million listings in the last 30 days. Or excuse me, last 30 days compared to September 21st, October 21st, I'm up 42%. Here is Tuesday, November 15th, the day before we did the 100 listings. You can see here we had, my listings came up in I had 27,611 impressions, and my store came up 1,425 times, which was pretty good, but nothing out of the ordinary when you look at all these other days. Look at Wednesday. We went from 27,000 listing impressions to 47,000. That's a big jump. And the store went from 1,400 listing impressions to 8,300. Now, some of that is, maybe people were finding my store that, and kind of checking it out from the videos and so on. That could be, but a big chunk of it, I think, is due to that 100 listings, guys. I've seen some uptick in the sales over that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There was some increase, no doubt. Not in relation to how many listings I did, but you can see that, pushing that big number of listings into eBay all at once definitely made the listing impressions go way up compared to normal. And even the next day, there was 42,000 and 35,000 and so on and so forth. So there was even a carryover effect for the next few days. And now it's a little bit elevated, but back about where it was before. So that was kind of interesting. I want to share that with you guys. So I guess it worked.
Yeah, I think we don't have any eBay scientific proof, but I mean, that kind of speaks volumes for everyone's theory that the more you list, the more, I mean, I know it's all numbers. The more you list, the more you sell. But I mean, oh, did you say yet how many of the 100 have we recapped?
No, we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know. I mean, this could be our scientific proof right here, but I think that 100 listing day did more across the board. I think there's a lot to be said about. I know it sounds funny. We always say list more, you'll sell more. Well, yes, but I think there's going to, you guys are going to see that we've actually got some harder proof to back that up now.
Yeah. So Kaaren made a great point there. You know, the more you list, the more you sell. Well, you know, it's a little early to tell that, but we definitely can say the more we listed, the more we were visible. So I don't know if that was all eBay giving us a push. I don't know. Some of that was just natural variation. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't list, it's not like I listed 50 items the day before and then listed 100 the next day and got double the number of impressions. So I'm not really sure what to take from the whole listing to impression ratio. So we'll see. We're going to talk about what we've done from those 100 too. There's a couple of questions and comments. Barry had a question about, you can only order 100 padded envelopes at a time. You order several times a week. You can. Usually you can't do it the same day. I'm not sure how long you got to wait in between orders. You could create another account with someone else in your household if you want. That way you can always have them coming in. So that's not a problem.
But yes, we do. We order them all the time. Right now, I think we're down to one box, right? Yeah,
we're down to like a full box and a little bit of another one. We've got one on the way, but I'm going to have to order another one. Let's see what else was question-wise. You think people will be shopping more heavily this year online as opposed to in-store? Probably Chicago Crown Hustler. I would think so, because that seems to be a trend that people are moving towards online buying in general. But there still could be an uptick in brick and mortar stores just because there's just more, maybe the economy is a little better. People feel better about it. Who knows? I mean, there's so many factors that go into that. It's really hard to say.
Oh, Lauren recruited her sister. That's cool. Good for you. Yeah,
nice.
Bring your family. I did a little of that yesterday, right? So yesterday, Tuesday, in our area, and I think it's across the board, maybe not the same day, but we have Senior Citizen Discount Day. And I went sourcing, just me, since you were out of town, and got 25%.
But you're not a senior citizen.
No, but my mother is just barely a senior citizen. And she took me and I got all by myself, 23 pair. And got the 25%. So
nice.
That's a nice savings and a nice,
nice little pop.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to share with you guys too is how the 100 listings have done. So I'm going to do another screen share. This is like Screen Share City today. Let's pull that up. We will show you. So we listed 100 items last Wednesday, so it's been exactly 1 week.
Very cool. Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's been not even quite really 7 days, because we ended the listing around 6 p.m. or so our time, which is about another 4 hours from now. But for our purposes, we'll say it's been 7 days. Now, my normal sell-through, guys, for 7 days and 100 listings should be should be about 9.5%. So if I had 100 items up on eBay, okay, and with my normal sell-through right now of like 1.35%, I would normally sell 9.5 jeans. Yeah, or 1.25. I can't remember which one I did. Let me see. 1.35 times 7. Yeah, I would normally sell 9.5 pair of jeans. So we'll just round up and say I would normally sell 10. Okay? Everybody follow me so far? So let's see what we have done of those 100. You can see here, guys, of those 100, we've sold 25, which is 2.5 times the expectation.
Unbelievable.
And for a gross total of $626, which is great. So of just those 100, we've sold a quarter of them already. Now, is that going to continue? Probably not at that rate. You know, we probably sold some of the low-hanging fruit. And by low-hanging fruit, I don't necessarily mean the cheapest. I just means ones that were, you know, best to sell at this point, or we're going to sell the quickest. But that's a great sell-through, guys. I mean, again, it kind of leads credence to this idea that the more you list, the more you sell. And by listing that big total, we got a nice pop. You know, if we had just had say we had taken like a month to get up those 100 jeans, we listed roughly 3 a day, we would only expect to see 9.5 of those selling over a course of a week. Instead, we saw 25 sell. That's through today, which is awesome. And today's not even over, so it could be a couple more. But I'm really happy with that. I mean, you know, obviously more of them are going to sell. If another 25 sell this week, I'd be ecstatic. That'd be 50% in 2 weeks, which would be a great sell-through rate, really, for anything. I don't think that sell-through rate is really sustainable, because that would suggest we'd sell all of them in a month. But that's not going to happen. Some are going to sit longer for all kinds of reasons, but it's a good start. So thought you guys would be interested in that. So of the 100 we listed last week, we sold 25 for $626 gross, and there you go. Hang on one second. Sorry, I've got like something I'm allergic to.
It's my perfume today.
Yeah, Karen's got a perfume on that I'm allergic to. That's bad, isn't it? Bad for me. So let's see what other questions are well and so on. Or if there was any other comments, we probably missed a few.
Well, Mike suggested that we look into, his Goodwills are running a gift card promo that if you buy 25, they'll give you 5 free. And the last time he participated, he, you know, was able to take advantage of that to the tune of a couple $100s. So ours don't usually participate, nor do they offer those cool frequent shopper cards that we've seen when we've gone on our road trips before. But I'll let everybody know if they do, and by all means, you should. You know, a lot of folks take advantage of those prepaid gift card ideas, the online arbitrage as well, shopping by website. But the gift cards are an excellent idea, Mike, for not even just the Goodwill, just everybody.
So Eddie says, I think that is biased only because you have more than 100 jeans listed total. But I think what you're missing in that, Eddie, is that's the number of those 100 that have sold. It's not the number that we've sold total between all our listings. So if those 100 gave us a pop, or those 100 got a pop from eBay, which, by the way, I would argue they did, because that is not a normal sell-through rate. That still proves the point that listing that many in a day really made a difference. That's not 25 jeans that have sold total. That's just of those 100. So what I have in the other parts of my store are really kind of immaterial. They don't really, I mean, you can't say that other listings drove people to those listings necessarily. I mean, that if that's what you're suggesting, because that doesn't really make sense. Like, there's no real reason that would work. I mean, I think what happens is you get with a big chunk of listings like that, eBay probably pushes you up in the search, maybe just for those listings. We don't know. I mean, nobody knows for sure exactly all the parameters of Cassini. People think they do. But in any case, man, that's a great sell-through rate for 100 pair of jeans.
And we weren't even going to keep track, but then we noticed that we sold 1 pair that night. Like, we sold 1 pair right away, like that night. And someone actually asked us to keep track of how much did we pay and how much did we make. And our thought was that, well, that would just drag on forever. I mean, as it is, we're doing a 5,000 jean challenge. But how on earth the 100 jeans might not sell for months?
Yeah, I didn't think they would. I think because somebody asked me that, and I said, there's no reason to even keep track, because why would these 100 jeans be any different? I don't know. Maybe they are. Not the jeans, but like that chunk in eBay's.
Well, and the only thing we did differently, and I can't even say that it was for the whole pile, because I had pre-taken the 65.
Right.
I did sort them by brand with this last group just to do my own little experiment to see if our shopping was mirroring what was selling percentage-wise. And it did. A third of them were Levi's, and then everything else just sort of fell into place. So I can't say that all 100 of them were done in chunks by brand. Maybe the last 40, if that. I know yesterday's were. So that might have been a variable, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about going over that 1,000 mark that who knows? I don't know. Maybe put us out in front of the group. I don't know, but that's awesome.
It's kind of like you always have a pieces of the puzzle on how to increase your sales, but you never have the full picture because you just don't know. There's things you just don't know and you can't know. But what I do know is even if that was the low-hanging fruit of that 100, that's still a really good sell-through for 25% of 100 listings over a week is really good. I don't care what business you're in. That's great sell-through. So maybe there's some benefit there to listing a big slug of jeans or any item all at once. I don't know. But anyway, so let's see what else we got. So the topic today I want to talk about for a moment, guys, because I think I thought I was really having a lot of returns lately, and I realized when I looked at last month's returns, it's actually not even up to last month's returns yet. It might approach that, and I've got more listings up than I did last month, and so who knows. But and some of those are the ones getting returned, the ones from last month and beginning of this month and so on. But I want to talk about returns for a minute, guys, and this is not to walk you through how to do a return on eBay. That there's tons of videos out there how to do that. I'm not going to get into that right now, but what I want to talk about is the mindset, because you have to think about what's the perception that a buyer has of you. You're on eBay. They don't know if you're a big seller, a small seller, and quite frankly, they probably don't care, right? If you were going to buy something on eBay or Amazon or whatever, do you really care if that person's got one list? I mean, you might care in their feedback, but are you really thinking about it in terms of, oh, this is probably a mom and pop, and so I need to give them a break versus their Target or Walmart?
If they have that purple sparkly Furby that I just have to have for Christmas, guess what? I'm going to buy it.
Okay, you're getting off track. But anyway.
No, you said, does it matter?
No,
you said, how do they know and what do they know when they see it? And really all they have to go by is your name, right? When it comes up, all they know is your name, store name, and then how many positive how many feedbacks that you've had and what color your star is. Right,
and you don't know all their criteria for deciding to buy something. We think we do, right? In terms of listing and photos and good keywords and price and shipping terms and return policies. But there's a lot of factors that can go into buying sometimes. But my point is, they expect you to treat them professionally. There's an expectation that on some level, and let me explain what I mean by that is, when you walk into a big box retail store and they have a return policy and they give you a receipt, and then you have some issue with that item, they expect you to honor the return policy. You expect that. Like you expect when you go back to Best Buy with your iPhone that they will honor it and take it back because that's what they said they would do. So your buyer starts with that kind of preconceived notion that you are just as professional and you're going to honor your word just as much as anybody else, as any other company. Now, so let's think about this. So your buyer has this perception of you and they see your item, whether it's clothing or not, doesn't really matter. But they see your item, they see your photos, they see your description, they see your item specifics, and then they start forming in their head a picture of this item. They can't touch it, they can't feel it because you've got it. But from what you've told them and showed them, they have a perception of that item. And it may be correct and it may not. Or it may be mostly correct and just a little off, or maybe sometimes it's way off, depending on how they perceive what you wrote and what you showed them. So they buy the item. They get it home. It doesn't fit. They don't like it. It's not what they thought. They realize they made a mistake. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. They're not happy with it. They're not happy with it. Could be their fault. Could be your fault. Could be no one's fault. Could be they don't really know what size they are. Could be they can't see color very well. Could be they misread something in your description. Does not matter. They are not happy with it. That's the outcome. Does not matter the reason. It really doesn't matter the reason. Because now at this point, they're going to make a decision, by definition, that's what we're talking about, to return it. So they're going to make a decision and return it. And now you've got a decision to make as a seller on whether or not to accept the return, on whether or not to argue with them about the reason for the return, on whether or not you think the return is legitimate, is valid. Here's the thing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Look at it. This is my perception of a return. I've got a buyer who's going to send something back to me, theoretically, and sometimes you let them keep it. That's a whole nother argument. But I've got a buyer who's not happy with an item. They're going to give me bad feedback or not. They're going to say it's item not as described or not. Doesn't matter. What I've got to be concerned with is how can I minimize my time and maximize my potential my profit and minimize my loss on this item, or if I'm going to take a loss. And what I mean when I say maximize my profit, I mean if I'm going to get this item back, I can resell it, assuming it comes back in good condition. And that's one thing a lot of sellers forget. Are they scamming me? Possibly. Were they mistaken? Could be. Did they misread my description?
Probably.
Sure. Did they read it at all? Maybe not. Doesn't matter. It's now a time and money calculation. That's what you're dealing with now. And that's how I think you should start thinking about returns if you're not already. How can I maximize my profit if I'm going to get this item back, which means doing it in the least amount of time with the least amount of worry? Or how am I going to minimize my loss if I'm going to give them a discount or a refund or let them keep the item or whatever you're going to do? Start thinking about it in those terms. And I'll tell you guys, it's a struggle. I feel your pain on this one because I struggle sometimes. I think, well, why did they think that? How could they say that? That doesn't make sense. And so you get into this vicious cycle of trying to win versus instead of trying to maximize your profitability or minimize your loss. So you got to decide what you want to do, because that buyer now, they're unhappy on some level, whatever, but your product is out there and you've got their money. And there's probably going to be some sort of exchange there. Some of their money or all their money is going to go back to them. Your product is either going to stay with them or come back to you. But ultimately, you want to maximize your profitability in the situation or minimize your loss. That's really all you should be thinking about. Not about whether you were right. Now, not about whether they were right, because here's the thing. And there are some, even if you say, well, the buyer is obviously scamming me and doing this. All right, still plug in the formula. How am I going to maximize my profitability or minimize my loss? Is this going to be a situation where I can get the item back and resell it? So that would be sort of the maximize my profitability side. Or is it going to be where I'm going to minimize my loss? I'm going to have to contact eBay. I'm going to have to fight this case that's going to get opened and hopefully not have to provide a refund to them because of the situation. That's minimizing your loss, because they're going to end up keeping the item. Maybe it's damaged. They say it's damaged or lost or whatever. So if you think about it in those terms, I think you can win returns. And by win, I mean you do one of those two things. But I think what a lot of sellers get into is they get in this pissing match with the customer and they want to beat them. There's no winning that. I mean, this is about business. When you go return something, don't make it personal, guys. And I know it seems personal, but I mean, I think it's about helping your business. When you go return something to Walmart, unless you're dealing with somebody who's having a bad day, you think Walmart really cares about if you're beating them or not? They don't care about that. They're trying to maximize their profitability or minimize their loss.
They're just going to take
all
it.
They're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're doing at that point, because that's what's going to happen anyway. Because they've already maybe hurt the relationship with you, either rightfully or wrongfully. You don't know. If you're scamming them, sure. And by the way, guys, scammers, I don't have hard proof on this, but I know from my years in retail management, the amount of people scamming you on returns is really small. And by scamming, I mean they're flat out trying to break the rules of the return. and they've done something to do that. A scammer is not someone who has buyer's remorse. Somebody buys something from you and it doesn't fit and they want to return it and get their money back. That's not a scammer. That's just somebody who has buyer's remorse. On the other hand, if they lie and say that it was stolen by their neighbor and now they're trying to get, not have to pay you or get their money back and they really got the item, that's a scammer. There's a difference there. But the amount of scammers you're going to deal with, true scammers, is probably in the single digits. It was not a huge number in retail, and I don't see a reason why it would be much different over online, maybe a little bit, but most of the people just are embarrassed they didn't read the description correctly, or they don't know what they really wanted, or else they did get it and it wasn't what they thought it would be. I mean, that's the vast majority of people who can return something to you. So, but even that doesn't matter. You still go back to how do you run your business and how do you figure out how to deal with people. I mean, that's what's going to separate you from being an amateur, from being, a hobby seller to a professional reseller. I mean, those are the sorts of things that separate you. You look at everything through the lens of profitability and loss, not through personally getting back at the buyer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That was a long explanation, but there's a lot to all that. So anyway, let's see. We had some questions here. I probably missed some.
Well, and some statements. I think somebody said that eBay always sides with the customer. And I don't know that that's true, right?
It's not always true, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of times when it's a return and it's not real clear, they are going to side with the customer. They are. And even if the customer's right or wrong, by the way, guys, right and wrong in this argument is really subjective a lot of times because, I ordered something from you. Ronnie Hart told this story. I believe it was Ronnie. He said he sold something once and described it as red. And someone bought it and got it and sent it back saying, hey, this is orange. So he got it back. He listed again as orange. Someone bought it and got it and said, hey, this is red. And sent it back. Same item. So there's some subjectivity to this. But it's not that eBay always sides with the customer. They're in a tricky situation, guys. They got to try to placate both sides, and it's not that easy to do. Keep selling. Don't waste energy worrying about returns. Yeah, that's true. We spend a lot of time on it, Monica, for an issue that really doesn't put that much money back in your pocket. Let's see what else we got here. Restocking fees. Yeah, not a big fan of those for clothing, obviously, but Casey, what's up, buddy? Casey sells 1,000 items a month. Oh, wait, he said that somewhere.
Had to do with his returns.
Oh, yeah. He sells 1,000 items a month, 1 or 2 legitimate scammers in the last 6 months. Yeah, it's rare. Let's see what else other people are saying. Scammers I get go directly to PayPal and try to get a charge back. Yep, people do that. And a lot of times it's going to happen. Like if you've ever had a fraudulent charge on your credit card, if it's below a certain amount, your bank's not going to research it. They're just going to give you your money back. And they're going to try to get their money from the merchant. Now, if it's a big amount, that's different. But it's not worth their time to deal with it. They're doing that same calculation of minimizing their loss and maximizing their return. Midwest, you cannot compare return policies at brick and mortar stores with eBay. Not the same. The brick and mortar almost always has the right to refuse the return. You have the right to refuse a return to Midwest. Doesn't mean, but there's an intermediary. And by the way, there's an intermediary with brick and mortar stores too. People have the power of the pen in their voice now. You can go and tell people on Yelp, you can go and tell people on forums how awful they treated you. You get enough of those at a brick and mortar store, you're going to be hurting. So I don't think it's not that simple anymore that, of course, they can refuse a return, but they know if you've ever worked in brick and mortar return management and you know that you refuse a return and it becomes testy in a heated conversation, that person is going to go and tell everybody they know about that situation. And by the way, guys, how do you think, how subjective do you think, or objective do you think they're going to be when they tell that story? It's all going to be from their side. So it's not like you and the store get any value in that. So it's not that easy as saying you can always refuse it. Of course you can, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come without a price. Let's see. Oh man, I'm trying to scroll down here. James says he's had eBay almost always side with him. Yeah, because you take extra steps, and sometimes you have to do that. How do you put a video on the listing? I don't know them. Are they still even allowing that? I think they were going to quit allowing that. I subsidize shipping, so I have to charge a restocking fee. I got you, King. Makes sense. How's your return rate on jeans? I'm part of most of this in the clothing sales industry. Rockstar. I guess you're asking that to me. Casey, it's right now at what, about 4%, maybe a little below actually.
3.8.
I think that's about right. I think it's 3.8. Yeah, Kaaren just says 3.8, which I think is okay.
I just sounded like you just then.
I know, right? Yeah. So let me, I'm going to show, I'm going to go to another topic, guys, but you know, this return thing, and I got to tell you, it started mentally affecting me in the last few days. And I just dealt with somebody right beforehand who's doing a return and, you know, wants like a shipping label sent to them and all this because they think it's this, they think it's that. And I'm like, you know.
Is this the one that the money's coming back in the pocket?
Yeah, one person felt kind of bad about it and said they went ahead and I paid for their label, but they said they would reimburse me the money and put it in the pocket of the jeans and send it back, so which is fine.
We're on the lookout.
Yeah, we're on the lookout for that. We got to be careful. I don't know which pocket it's in.
And I thought it was money that somehow I missed, and I don't miss money in pockets. But no, it's a reimburse for shipping. Are you going to talk about the woman, the one return, the return from heck? Because that's in the works still.
Yeah, I've already talked about that one before. We'll see if that one's supposed to be coming back. We'll see what happens. All right, well, let me show you guys results from the weekend and over the last few days. Actually, since I guess we had a show Monday. So in the last 2 days, actually, not the weekend, the last 2 days. And kind of a little drop, but hey, it's all right. We're going to get back on track here. We'll do a quick screen share. Nope, wrong one. There we go. All right, so Monday's results was the 21st. Let me move this over a little so I can pull up the whole row.
And I've taken more pictures than that.
Yeah, we did 12 that day. And by the way, Karen's pictures are not correct right now. I haven't updated the totals. So these last several days, don't look at those. We haven't updated totals on those. 12 sold, $300. Yesterday, I was out of town all day. 167.50, only 5 sold. Today, we've actually had 5, I think, today. We just haven't gotten the other 2 processed yet. So, you know, not great sales, but on the month, we're at 58.08 in jeans, which is pretty decent. That's a total of, let's see, 235 sold. We've listed 336. Photos are actually more than 280, as I just mentioned. We keep hovering around the 1,000 mark. Like, it just hammered us back down with sales over the last several days, especially the weekend. All told, $2,500 net on that on the month, about 43%, which is great. But I'll show you the graphs, which I just updated these today, so they should be good. Sold is still steadily climbing, guys. You can see this line. I can't wait to see this after like a year, just kind of see what it's going to do. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. There's the listed with the big outlier day of 100. So that's kind of funny. Gross per day is hovering right around $300. So we'll see if that holds up. And listing totals, you can see up here, there was the big spike, then back down, and then back up a little bit. Sell-through is now around 1 point, maybe 2. That is kind of hard to tell. Wish I had lines that went across better, but somewhere around there, which is pretty good. But you can see that sell-through is 1.2 means you would sell 36 jeans over a 30-day month if you had 100 listed. So to sell 25 in 1 week out of 100, like we did with the 100 listings, is really good. So pretty happy about that. Pretty happy with the results overall. Just this month is definitely going to be down from last month. Last month was a record. And I want to talk to you a little bit about a little pivot we're going to do. Kaaren, do you want to talk about that, or do you feel comfortable talking about it?
Which pivot is that?
About what we were going to go do differently. Remember I mentioned?
We're going to do a lot of things differently.
Oh, well, all right.
Well, which time were you going to, which time do
I was talking about some of the new sourcing strategy we were going to use. What we were going to, remember I said about doing not an experiment, but.
Well, we're going to do more retail.
At the rack.
Oh, well, the big thing is jeans will stay because the jeans are going to be the bread and butter for a while. That's just part of the plan right now. But our goal is to spend some time getting some higher cost or higher priced items.
Mm-hmm.
So our profit on one thing would be equal to a couple of things. Now you got fancier words for that, but basically we're going to diversify that way. We're going to go to some different places. We'll go to Nordstrom more. We're going to span out and not just do jeans. We're just looking for the highest profit.
Yep. Yeah. So, just to kind of go reiterate, we are going to take a chunk of money, a chunk of capital, and really, buy some new items, basically new clothing items. We're just going to try to branch out a little bit. We're definitely going to focus at mainly on jeans, but not only jeans, and see if we can pop some better numbers. Because we notice, like, when you sell the newer jeans, even though you're spending more for them on the front end, I'm not talking about jeans you get at a thrift store. I'm talking about you get at discount stores like Nordstrom Rack, for instance, or Burlington. You are going to make a higher dollar total, and it takes you just as long to source them, and just as long to photo them, and just as long to ship them. So if you're only making $10 on a pair of jeans net, and now you can make 20 or 30, you don't have to sell as many of them to get, really good results. So we're going to take a chunk of money, probably $500 was what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. We'd take $500, commit it to only that. We're just kind of spin through it and see what we can get out of that. So a little bit of a pivot there, but it's not going to change our overall strategy at all. And it shouldn't really affect that. Somebody had a comment or a question I want to answer. It was Eddie saying, if he had a store just like mine, the same amount of listings, and the store was identical, would I see the same results? There's no way to know that, Eddie. But you would think, here's the problem. And this is the problem people get into, the trap you get into when you start copying other people, is you start thinking you're going to get exactly their results. And that's just not the case, because when you see someone's results, you've seen a snapshot in time. You've seen what they did for this day or this week or this month. That does not guarantee that the next day or the next week or the month will be exactly like that. And it's for all kinds of reasons: seasonality, supply and demand. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of things, but no, that's like saying if you opened up 2 Targets in the same town, would they both, after one had been there, would get the same results? Well, probably not. First of all, you're going to dilute, the product a little bit, because you're going to have so much of it there. There's only so much money out there for people to buy. But no, I wouldn't say that to somebody, you're going to have exactly my results. Of course I wouldn't say that, because that's just silly. And that's just not the way statistics and numbers work. Anyway, what else we got here? We had some other questions or something.
Well, you've got human variable too there. You have to, another part of the customer service is we ship same day.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or one day. Yeah. Right.
I don't know if there's any way to guarantee.
Casey asked if we're any good on vintage clothing, on sourcing tips for them. I'm starting to get interested in that stuff.
Getting better, because we run into,
Yeah.
And we're not, and we'll tell you, we're not going to leave money on the table. So we do encounter items, and we are getting better at it.
Yeah. And it's funny though, Casey, because I think with issues like that, or with vintage clothing, you're not going to see as much of it, obviously, because you're going to see a lot of newer stuff. But Ronnie was giving me some good feedback on that. A lot of times it can be something that's famous or not famous, will sell for a lot because somebody famous wore it at a time when something happened. Like we were talking about Tommy Hilfiger overalls. Mm-hmm. And he was saying there was one that I think Aaliyah was maybe wearing when she died, or made popular. I think it was Aaliyah.
I think
she was the one. She died, right? Aaliyah, I think so. Singer. And that particular one became very popular. And then there's some other ones that did too, that were older, like from the 90s and so on. But vintage is a little tricky even what that means to some people. I think Chad had a whole show about that, about what is vintage. And that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I mean, I think vintage clothing is certain brands that, maybe you're still around or you can't get anymore. Sure, absolutely. And we're trying to get better about doing that too. And jeans are obviously great if you can find vintage jeans, older ones, especially Levi's and so on. They go for great money. But
I'm Instagramming over here.
Oh, you're Instagramming?
Yeah.
Miss Me. We love Miss Me.
Did you put that second pair on auction?
Yeah, they haven't really gotten that big a pop yet.
Well, it's not until the end. It doesn't happen until the very end.
That's true. That's true. I thought I saw some other questions here.
I don't even know what this means.
It's like driving a car looking through the rearview mirror. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Krillin. Yeah, that you're right. It's like seeing where you've been. People forget that. They get results oriented in terms of the past and not the future. It's like the past is done. There's nothing you can do about that now. You can just learn and move on and try to make the future better. I think Miss Me should combine with the Pokemon craze. Poke Miss, Me Poke, or Poke Miss.
Huh? I thought that was you.
No, it's Silver Hair Stacker. I don't know why, but I find that pretty funny. Let's see. You can get great bolos for vintage that way. Yep. And sometimes with estate sales too, you can find vintage clothing. People who've had, especially like an older couple, if they're doing a estate sale and they've had their stuff for years, and because their size hasn't changed really too much, so they've got stuff they just keep it. You can find all kinds of stuff like that. Probably. Let's see. My luck increases when I work harder. Yep, that's right. Who said that? Ben Franklin? I can't remember who said that. Can I block buyers with zero feedback? I think you can, Mohammed. I believe you have to go into your site preferences on eBay. Put us some good checked out.
Well, and Mohammed, because somebody else, James said, why block them? We all get a lot of first-time buyers. And I would say this, everybody that buys on eBay, even the really good buyers, had to have that first purchase, right? So I'd say most of them are going to be just fine. And I would, if James is, I would have to agree. I don't know that I would want to, we don't block them, do we?
We don't. And here's the problem with blocking buyers based on their feedback number. What's the magic number? And I'm going to tell you something that's changed a lot about that too, because you can automate your feedback as a seller for someone who buys something from you. I do. I don't know that feedback is as meaningful now as it used to be for buyers, because a lot of times, because the way mine works, I think mine actually sends the feedback right after they pay. Because I don't have time to go in and put up, okay, I don't want to get started on the subject, but I am not in the feedback business. I am in the reselling business. So I'm not going to put all this time and energy into creating meaningful feedback for buyers, because most of it's going to be just fine. It's only the one or two knuckleheads you have that you would ever really go into much detail. And I think a lot of sellers are doing that now. They're automating that feedback and just randomizing good comments, and they move on. So anyway, let's see. Why do people worry about things that have never adversely affected them? Well, I don't know, King. You might live at the beach and never have experienced a hurricane, but it's probably worth keeping an eye on from time to time. But I get your point. Let's see. Who pays for return? I'm not sure what that was in response to.
We talked about that earlier. It depends. Sometimes buyer, sometimes seller.
Yeah, the feedback thing is getting, I hate to say it, but feedback on eBay is becoming meaningless. There, I said it. It's heresy. But it is. It's becoming meaningless. And eBay's always been known for that. And that was one of the differences they have with Amazon, where on Amazon it's much harder to get feedback on Amazon. People don't leave feedback at very high rates on Amazon. I've seen people say it's as low as maybe 5 to 10%. On eBay, it's much higher. But now, because it's getting automated, I don't know that it means that much.
Mm-mm.
I don't think people care about it as much as they used to.
It's like foreclosures.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's so much of it that people don't.
It doesn't matter as much anymore. That's all.
It doesn't have the stigma that it used to when you run into a buyer who has bad feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, or good or feedback at all, because they might have the last 10 are great and they screwed over 3 sellers, you know, and you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But you can certainly, Muhammad, you can certainly block people if you have a bad experience with them.
Yeah.
And you can also share it with your friends. Isn't there don't you have a resource in the reseller?
Yeah, I have some buyers blocked. You can block up to 5,000 buyers, by the way, which is a crazy number when you think about it. But I do have some buyers on eBay blocked because I just felt like they went overboard with their demands or what have you. And I think it's only like 4 or 5 buyers. It's not many. And, you know, I don't know. That's the tool I use. So at least I don't have to deal with them again. Now they could go on and create another account. That's possible. But anyway, one of the first things I look at as a buyer. Yeah, I mean, looking at seller feedback is different, but buyer feedback, I don't know. I don't think it's really that meaningful anymore. That should be a whole show topic, like feedback on eBay, or maybe not a whole topic, but at least a topic.
Uh-oh, ring, ring, eBay's calling. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, they've actually created this problem by allowing you to automate it and having ways to go in and just send it no matter what. I mean, what am I going to do? You know, like if I sell 50 items in 3 days, I'm literally going to sit there and take the time to go through all 50. I mean, what is most of my feedback going to say? The only time I'm going to leave feedback usually that's not automated would be if it was a bad experience. So I just made the decision as a seller to go in and leave the feedback automated for everyone. So yeah, I probably left some good feedback for a couple crappy experiences, but I don't know. It is what it is. I guess if it was really bad, feedback to me always seems a little bit punitive and vindictive at times, especially now with it being automated, because I don't know that it's going to mean as much. So you really got to take the time and energy to go leave feedback now.
Yeah.
And say, oh, this guy's really screwed me over. Let me tell you how. I don't know.
Well, all you're saying is, yes, they bought something. Yes, they paid for it. Yes, I shipped it.
Yeah. Well, and you can put the comment, you know.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody gets a trophy. Yay, they paid me. Yay. So that was pretty funny.
I got jokes.
Feedback matters even on Amazon. I never do bottom of a sale, and I get buyers saying they bought me because I have 100% feedback. Yeah, sure. I mean, there probably are buyers like that, James, but on Amazon, you're all listing on the same ASIN. So it really just comes down to condition. Sometimes what your comments are about the item, your pricing, obviously. I'm not sure, because it doesn't matter, because the photos a lot of times aren't going to matter if you're listing against an ASIN, because you're going to use the same photo. If it's a new item, if it's pre-owned, that's different, obviously. But let's see. All right, what else we got here?
Well, on Amazon, it also, I think people, as an Amazon shopper too, I think people look at the feedback and the price in between. You know, because you have the ability, because it's the same item,
you
same
can see,
ASIN,
and you can put in the condition, right?
You can certainly, you don't have to get the most expensive. You don't have to get the least expensive. You can, and that is based on seller history as well.
Right. Someone asked, would you do just as well doing online arbitrage versus going to the store on Black Friday weekend? I don't know if I'm the right person to ask that, Michael. I don't really have a strong feel for that. The problem with going to a store is you can only be in one store at once. Whereas you can do online arbitrage and research many stores in a short amount of time, far more than you could ever drive to in that time frame.
You're also limited. And quantities would probably be limited online as well, but in person.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
Sometimes it's limited,
with
right?
100 other people in line with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. We won't hit Black Friday until next year.
Yeah, we're not going to hit it because Black Friday, again, going back to my days in retail, a lot of times the deals weren't that great. Yeah, I mean, I know you have the Doorbusters that draw people in, and those can be great deals if you can pick up, some of those. But the rest of the store is not necessarily a great deal. You can actually get better deals at other times of the year. Now that takes a little bit of timing. You got to figure out when's a good time to buy Hatchimals or whatever the hell they are, hatch animals.
I'm gonna get you one for Christmas.
I don't even know what they are. I've seen them and I'm going, what is this? It's like a toy and an egg. I don't know what this thing is, but not my monkeys, not my circus. But a lot of times you can get that great deal on the Doorbuster and of course flip that back out. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't want to stand in line at 2:30 in the morning.
Nope, I'll be sleeping.
I'd rather have a business where I don't have to do that. Honestly, I don't think that's as efficient as you can be. There's definitely money to be made. I'm not arguing that, mm-hmm. But you think to yourself, if I'm going to go stand in line, how much of my other business can I really be running during those 2 hours or 3 hours, or whatever the time frame is? What could you have been doing with that time? I guess you're standing every hour, every minute you stand there, you're making less money per minute, per hour, till the time you get the item, right? By definition. So it's like, is it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're getting, obviously.
Yeah, King's got a good point. He said with electronics, the best deal is when the new products come out. Doorbusters are often inferior products. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the cheap TV, mm-hmm. The cheap plasma or
just to get
LED.
You in the door.
It's just to get you in the door, honestly. And then they whip up this, this fervor where, people are going crazy over some doodad gadget or newest toy. And I'm like, this, from a reseller's point of view, it doesn't make sense. And I guess if you had to get that item for somebody because you thought it was such a good deal, like I feel like it's all a little bit artificial, Black Friday. And I felt like that when I worked retail. It sucked. It was a terrible day. It was very busy and it went by quick, but you're just like, man, people come in and they see the Doorbusters, they see the ad, and that's like 2% of what you're selling. Mm-hmm. And the other 98% is the regular crap. There's nothing special about it, and then they come in and they're like, this is it. And it's all gone. Oh, you only opened 20 minutes ago. It's all gone. Well, yeah, we sold 80 of them in 20 minutes. That was the way it worked.
If we're going to wait in line, there better be popcorn involved or good music. I'm just saying.
That's a good point. I like that. Popcorn or music. You'd wait in line to see a Star Wars movie. Well, wait, was that a copyright violation?
Only if you sing the song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So it's interesting. So watching the chat, I think somebody asked about a jean brand maybe, and one of the comments was research it. And I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
Because that's you're not going to know until you know, and it's really easy to find out if a brand is selling well on eBay.
Yep.
You just enter it and see what's sold before it, and that'll give you a benchmark.
Yep. That's exactly right. You want to find out if a brand is good, research it. It does me no good to tell you that it is or isn't. What are you going to do? Ask me every brand? I hate to sound like that, but it's like, it doesn't make sense. And even then it's like, well, there's certain sizes and fits that would be better and design. That doesn't really make sense. It's not the point of this channel to tell people to give you an answer to the test.
How to think, not what to think.
Right. That's always been our point on here. And it's not coming from a place that we don't want to help. It's just, I will have to answer that question for every brand you come across. And that's not efficient use of my time or yours, honestly. Mm-hmm. And you'll never grow as a reseller if you do that. You just won't. So it makes more sense for me to say, hey, go research it. Go research completed and solds. Look for the sell-through percentage. What are they selling for? Sort it. eBay gives you all the tools you need. It's not like I have some magic knowledge that no one else has, or Casey or anybody that's watching this. I mean, we've just used the tools we have and made changes and adaptations from that. So let's see what other comments we had here. Thought I saw one. Now the stores have ruined the holiday opening on Thursday. Yeah, they've been doing that. Some have been doing that for a while.
That's been getting worse and worse, though.
Right. Right.
Research, research, research.
Yeah, Crafty's like, go eBay jeans sold your area, find out. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to do it. In your area, find out what others in your area are finding. It sells high.
And it's like when you were little, because like I'm that mom. If my son asks me how to spell something or what does it mean, what's my response? Go look it up in the dictionary. You'll remember it longer.
Yeah, well, we're old school now. Would be Google it.
Well,
I don't know how to spell it.
Oh, did we just kind of hint at our age?
What's a dictionary?
There you go.
Should I Google that to find out what that is?
I find I'm saying Google it even to my parents now. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Oh, just Google it.
Just Google it.
And they do. My grandmother Googles. Amazing.
Oh, one other thing I want to tell you guys too. I'm working on getting my parents to. I saw them, yesterday. Getting them to part with. I was down in the basement bringing up the Christmas decorations yesterday, and I noticed they had a bunch of my old toys from my childhood. So here could be a little different branch out. This was stuff like Adventure People, Tonka trucks from way back then. What else was there? There was a bunch of Tonka stuff, honestly. A fire engine that was pretty old, probably 20, 25 years old. I don't know if that'd be that great. Some of those go for ridiculous money.
Yes, they do.
Some of the Tonka fire engines from the 50s go for $1,000. It is crazy. And a lot of them go for in the hundreds.
Well,
but these weren't the 50s.
You weren't alive.
No, these were not the 50s. I was looking for a hand-me-down. There's other stuff. So there's some treasures I'm going to mine out of that. So there's your tip for the day. If your parents are, living somewhere different from where you are and they still have some of your stuff from when you're a kid, look through it. There might be some great finds there for you to resell. Definitely. And if nothing else, you'll bring back some cool memories. So either way, it's a win-win. So I brought back some cool memories and thought, yeah, I used to play with this big Tonka Jeep and it had tires that you could take off with a little jack and change them. I thought that was pretty cool. Even there was no hole in them. I don't know why you change them. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands either, but I'm just doing it. But
there were dolls that you could cut their hair too. Same thing. Why cut it? They got great doll hair.
Yeah. So check your parents' basement is the theme here, and find some things from maybe your childhood you can sell, and who knows, maybe you'll find a few $100 worth of stuff you can find. I'm buying Jason a shirt that says I don't need Google, I have my wife. That's actually a good shirt, and that's kind of true. Monetizing our childhoods. Yep, that's right. I know. I so wish I could find. I think they got rid of my Commodore 64. I wouldn't even sell it. I'd probably use it and just play games on it. And be like, this thing's amazing. That was the best computer ever for games. It was awesome because you could get them for free. I mean, I paid for all of them legitimately. Never mind, you didn't hear that. But anyway, let's see. All right. Okay, so I think, guys, that's probably about do it for the day. We're getting close to the 1 hour mark anyway. Thank you guys for watching today. I know we all got the holiday tomorrow, so hopefully you guys will have a great holiday. I hope you have fun, eat a lot of food if that's what you're into. I know I'm going to go eat like a king at a steakhouse. And, keep working on your business. Don't let the returns get you down. Keep trying to, make changes that'll improve your profitability. Remember, maximize your profitability and minimize your loss. That's your keys with your returns. And it should be your keys to a lot of things in business, I think, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, we're going to say something.
No, no.
Fail. As a comment.
No,
fail.
I was going to say, so people keep asking us if we're going to do the 100-day listing thing again. And I know you're getting ready to close, and it was just in the back of my brain to bring up. But yeah, we're probably going to do it, but we're not going to do it online because we're kind of doing a little bit of what we. And it's just by design because it's a holiday week, so we're cutting ourselves some slack here. But I think we are going to start doing boost days like that because it made a huge difference.
Yep. We are. So even if there's just 50 listings in a day, they definitely seem to make a difference. And if we do some more of them, we'll have more data to compare against and see how that works. I can kind of track some more of them, see how it goes.
Yeah. Squirrels?
Squirrels? All right, guys. All right, that's going to do it for today. So have a happy Thanksgiving. Leave me a comment and down below. Please hit the like button. What should they do, Kaaren?
Smash it.
If you like this content, even if you're watching later. And, of course, consider subscribing to Prof Sales so you can get an update on all the videos when they come out.
All things prof.
All things prof. All right, guys. I hope tomorrow is awesome for you. And we'll be back on. It might be a few days because I'm actually going out of town Friday. Karen's got some plans too. We're kind of going a little bit different directions after tomorrow. So it might even be Monday before we get back on or maybe even Sunday afternoon. But we'll give you guys an update. You're like, Sunday.
Sunday? What are you, crazy?
What are you, crazy?
Yeah, everybody, we hope you have a great day tomorrow and a great rest of the week. And don't beat yourselves up over listing or not listing or whatever happens this week, because sometimes you got to take the time for other things that matter more. Yep,
exactly. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the show. So thanks for joining us.
Oh, I see what you did there.
What did I do there?
Thanks. It's Thanksgiving.
Oh, clever. Clever girl.
So happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. This is Kaaren and
Prof Sales saying good sales to you.